What's up, everybody? Tech Chucker here, and I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving. That's right, it is Thanksgiving Day 2017, and I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to try to make this fairly short and sweet, but I really wanted to do this. For those of you looking for something action figure related in this video, that's not what this video is going to be about today. What I wanted to talk about is thankfulness, giving thanks and what it means to you and what it means to me, really. And so we're going to do this really short. I've got a short little story I want to tell you, and then I'll let you go. Alrighty? So for those of you that aren't aware or don't remember, my brother Ben passed away on Thanksgiving Day last year. I did a video, I believe I did a video on it that day potentially, or maybe it was a couple days later. I don't really recall, but because of that, it's changed my perspective on Thanksgiving. It's changed what Thanksgiving is, and today is the 1-year anniversary of him passing away. Now, technically, he died on November 24th, which was Thanksgiving last year, but for me, forever, Thanksgiving Day will always be the day that he passed. I may not always remember that it was the 24th, and I don't know that that really matters, because I think it was very significant that he passed away on Thanksgiving Day. So some backstory, 5 years previous, so that would be 6 years ago now, he was diagnosed with a glioblastoma stage 4 tumor in his brain. And essentially, there's not a huge likelihood that you're going to have a very long life after being diagnosed with that. And the different types indicate how fast and aggressive those are. And the one that he happened to have was fairly aggressive and lethal. And it happened to be wrapped around a part of his brain that is such that they could do surgery, but they'd never be able to remove it completely. So he wound up having one surgery, and that wound up putting him paralyzed on the right side of his body, and he couldn't talk. And a lot of physical therapy later, he was finally able to walk. I mean, obviously it was very labored, but he could walk and he could talk a little better, but his talking never really got all that great. So fast forward then, last year, he passes away. And so a lot of folks would say, well, how can you say that you're thankful still on Thanksgiving? What does it mean to say that your Thanksgiving is different now? And here's how I explain it. So it was probably about 2 years into my brother's diagnosis that he came down with his wife to see a brain surgeon at the Mayo Clinic where I work. And my wife and I asked, would it be okay if we came to the appointment with you? And they said, that's okay, that's fine. And I remember after that appointment, something hit me based off of what the doctor had said. And I knew, I knew that this tumor was going to be the end of my brother. I didn't know when, but I just knew it. So after they had left and went home, I created a document called Ben's Eulogy. And for the next 3 years, I spent how many nights working on that eulogy. What was I going to say at my brother's funeral? And I remember it so clearly, working on this document, working on the eulogy, imagining what I was going to say. Fast forward, and we're not going to get into a lot of details about what my brother went through, but you can imagine, I mean, somebody being, for the most part, kind of paralyzed, not able to speak. It's difficult, and it was difficult on his wife and kids, because he had 4 kids. It was so much more difficult on them. But fast forward to Thanksgiving Day and he passes away. He passed away. He had the blessing of being able to pass away in his home, with hospice care there. And our family is very faith-based. We're a Christian family. The fact that my brother was able to live his life through his faith, or I guess live his faith through his life, meant a huge amount. And I always felt throughout that whole time there was a difficulty, because a lot of the family, God is going to heal him. God's going to heal him. He's going to heal him as long as we all believe it. And if we pray it and we just believe it. And I believed that there was a chance that he could be healed. But I also had the reality of knowing that sometimes when we ask God for something, the answer he gives us is not what we asked for. And that essentially is what we got for my brother. The answer was not he was going to be healed. The answer was that I think a lot of other people were healed. And maybe not necessarily medically speaking healed, but a lot of people had quite the change in who they were just by witnessing my brother's life and death. And it gave me this profound understanding of what our deaths are. And that oftentimes our death is not going to be our death. It's not ours. If you work to have a strong knit family and community, your death is everyone's death, because everyone's involved and everyone pitches in some way. I mean, the number of families that would bring food each night or each day so that nobody had to worry about what are we going to have for supper, and people stopping by all the time to just check in and see how everyone was doing. It was just amazing. And that's why I give thanks, because Thanksgiving almost seemed like the perfect day for him to pass, because we can give thanks for everything that he meant to us and everything that he did for us. So the day before it was going to be his funeral service, I told his wife, I said, I've been working on a eulogy, and she let me know that Ben had actually chosen 3 of his coworkers before he had passed to speak. And at first I had kind of a hard time with that, because I'm like, I've spent 3 years working on this thing. But I realized fairly quickly that I wasn't actually intended to be speaking anyway, because the strangest thing, I went to open up the document that I had been working on for 3 years, and I opened it up, and there was nothing on the page. There was absolutely nothing on that page. And so I thought at first, maybe I just overwrote it. And so I went, the system that I store my files in, it stores a version for each time you save it. There was one version. It was just that version. It was just a blank document. And to this day, it still just baffles my mind that I could see myself sitting at the computer, typing away at this eulogy, all to find it was just in my head. I never actually wrote one word except for the file I created. And it's just, I don't know what to make of that. But it's so weird. And yet so, it makes so much sense too, because I felt like I couldn't break down when anyone else was breaking down, that I needed to be strong when everyone else wasn't able to be strong. And some of it was easier for me because I live about 3 hours away. So when I realized that my eulogy was blank and there was nothing there, I realized, wow, okay, so maybe what this is telling me is that none of this is about me. And none of this is about me standing up talking in front of people and telling them my story, because none of this was my story. And I get I'm recording a video now telling my story, but So the irony is not lost on me. But it was just very interesting. And so the whole idea of him passing away on Thanksgiving just helps me remember and be thankful that not everything about our story is something that we can control, but everything that is in our story is something that we can learn from and that we can improve upon and become better people for. And whether that's God for you or not God for you or something else, I just think we need to take a moment to look at our lives and look at the blessings that we've gotten, and be thankful for the people around us, and let people know that we're thankful. So to wrap this up, I am extraordinarily thankful for my family, my friends, my job, my wife, my kids, which are family. It's redundant. But I'm thankful for all of you, and I'm thankful for those of you who take a little bit of time out of your day to watch my videos, to put up with my whatever dumb jokes I might have. I'm thankful for all of that, and I understand that life is not easy. And I have been very lucky and blessed to have had a much easier life than others have. And so I appreciate that. And so I think my brother passing on Thanksgiving, I can be thankful because he's not in pain anymore. And I can be thankful that his life was so much bigger of an impact than anything I could have ever done. And even to the end, he was able to give me life lessons that the story's not always about me. And I can appreciate that. So I know that this wasn't the most uplifting, maybe, but hopefully you can find some positive out of this and find some thankfulness in your day, and hug your family, hug your friends, and enjoy the day. And remember what this day is about. This day is about being thankful for what you have, and even being thankful for the things you don't have. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.